Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm taking you through my Emery-inspired 4-2-3-1 tactic. Jump straight into it. We're testing this out with Aston Villa, obviously. We're testing this out with Roma over in Italy, and we're testing this out with Copenhagen in Denmark, so we'll get straight to the Aston Villa results. And first up, in the EFL Cup, it was an embarrassing defeat. We've lost out in the first round we played. That is the third round of the League Cup. We've lost on penalties after drawing 2 each with Ipswich. And moving into the FA Cup, it was much better. A 2-1 victory against Leeds United in the third round, set up a tie against West Ham, another Clarendon Blue side in the fourth round. We managed to beat them 3-0, 2 goals from Watkins, 1 from Buendia. Fifth round, we went away to Millwall, tough place to go in the Cups, but we managed to win 2-1 in extra time. That set up a quarter-final tie against Brentford, where again, we get taken to extra time, but we won 4-3 there. So we are into the semi-finals. We were at Wembley, we smashed Leicester 3-1. Pretty convincing win there, 3-1, we're in the final, and in that final, we beat Crystal Palace 3-1. Goals from Buendia, Tielemans and Daniel Malin means that we have lifted an FA Cup trophy with Aston Villa. And in the Europa League, we were in a tough group with Salzburg, Lyon, Stuttgart. Probably the most surprising thing here is that Salzburg actually managed to top the group with 13 points, but we've managed to go through as well with 3 wins, beating Lille 4-1, Stuttgart 4-2 and battering Salzburg 5-0 at home. We then drew with Stuttgart 2 each away from home, and then we lost to Salzburg and Lille away from home. But we've made it through to the next round of the Europa League. And in that next round of the Europa League, that is the knockout playoff round. Because we finished second, we don't get to bypass the next round. So we faced Bayer Leverkusen, won 4-1 away from home. Hat-trick from Ollie Watkins meant the business. But unfortunately at home we lost 1-0, but it doesn't matter. We went through 4-2 in aggregate to face Copenhagen. And unfortunately we lost 2-0 at home after Boubacar Kamara getting sent off when we were 1-0 down. There was no coming back from that. Then away in Denmark we drew 1 each. Just wasn't enough. Copenhagen are through to the last 8 with a 3-1 victory. And to top it all off, we have won the Premier League with Aston Villa. 27 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses, goal difference of 55 to finish from 87 points. We'll take a deeper dive into those numbers now. In terms of goals, we scored 92 while only conceding 37, so we've conceded less than 1 a game, which is always my kind of metric that I aim for with these tactics. You want to concede less than 1 a game, have a solid defence, any chance of winning. Looking deeper into these numbers, as you can see, we scored the most goals, 92, 22 more goals than Liverpool. In terms of shots numbers, we are second behind only Manchester City. Few shots against, we're sitting in 6th. Possession wise, we're not in the top numbers here. Best pass completion, we're not here. Most tackles won, 3rd with 954. Dribbles made, we are sitting in 5th. Few's conceded, we actually had the 6th best defence in the league this year. The teams above us kind of maybe expect them to be there, but it doesn't matter. We've only conceded 37. As you can see, Liverpool conceded 22, but they finished quite a way off us in the league. And in terms of clean sheets, we are not in the top numbers. Despite the fact we only conceded 37, we must have been conceding 1 goal quite consistently. And in terms of the player stats, if we take a look, Ollie Watkins banged in 31 goals from 33 starts this year for a goal every 96 minutes. That's absolutely phenomenal from him. Jacob Ramsey in 4th, 17 goals as well. Just from his 22 starts, 10 sub appearances. In terms of the assist numbers, Buendia, John McGinn and Alex Moreno all making up the top players here. In terms of the shots, obviously you'd expect Ollie Watkins to be there for this. Man of the match, surprisingly Ollie Watkins isn't one of the top players here, but Jacob Ramsey's there with 5 man of the match across the season. In terms of your key passes, we've got Buendia in there in 3rd. Best pass completion, we always say it's usually goalkeepers. Tackles won, we've got Alex Moreno up in 7th. Dribbles made, we've got nobody here. Few's conceded. We're not actually on this list, which may be a bit surprising, and same with the clean sheets, maybe a bit surprising. We've won the league, but we've not kept a lot of clean sheets by the looks of it. If we actually take a look, I want to see this. Martinez kept 13 clean sheets in 37 games, but if you're conceding just 1 per game, but you're scoring 3 and 4, it doesn't really matter, so we're still winning. We're the champions of England, and we have won a domestic double. So the key players, as we'll see, there's no surprise that it's Ollie Watkins, who managed to bag himself 44 goals and 6 assists from 44 starts and 5 sub appearances this year. 30-year-old Englishman has been the absolute business for us this season, pretty much a goal a game. Absolutely lethal this season, and he is a big part of why we won this double. And Emi Buendia had a phenomenal season for us as well. 16 goals and 15 assists for him. The attack midfielder playing just in behind Watkins. Absolutely brilliant season for him, probably his best ever season as a footballer. And we also need to mention Jacob Ramsey, 20 goals and 11 assists, just from his 33 starts, 13 sub appearances. He's actually listed now for some reason, but what a season for him. If I was continuing to say if he'd be taken off that transfer list, no bother, there's no point in him staying there. But as we have seen, 3rd round exit of the Carabao Cup to Ipswich, embarrassing. Europa League round of 16 Copenhagen, probably should have been doing better there, but we've won the FA Cup and we have won the Premier League. So next up, let's see how we've done with AS Roma. Can we do a double? Can we do better? Let's see. Well, we've started off well. We've managed to win the Coppa Italia 3-2, beating Juventus. 2 goals from Vlahovic, not enough for Sule, El Shaarawy and Evan Ferguson, who's obviously here on loan. We've managed to win the Italian Cup, and if I'm not mistaken, that might be the first time in a while. I might be talking absolute nonsense. Yeah, it's the first time since 2008 that they've won the Italian Cup, so brilliant start to these Roma results. And in the Europa League, we had a much easier group than Aston Villa had. Aston Villa had probably the hardest group. Roma here have the easiest group. Red Star, Wolfsberger and Karabag. We've won 5, we beat Karabag twice, Red Star twice, beat Wolfsberger, and we then drew with Wolfsberger as well for a goal difference of 13. So through to the last 16, really convincingly there. In the last 16, we beat Monaco 5-2 away from home, so probably already through. As you guessed it, 2-0 at home, so we went through 7-4 aggregate, so maybe a wee bit closer than you'd like, but we made it through. Then we came up against Porto in the quarterfinals. First leg, 5-0 win at home. Should be convincing, but they made it hard for themselves. They lost 4-1 in Portugal to go through 6-4 in aggregate. Again, 4 goals across the 2 games, not absolutely brilliant. The semi-finals, again, we're back over to that side of Europe. We beat Real Betis 1-0 at home, and then we beat them 1-0 away, setting up a final, and in that final we have beaten PSV. We won 3-2, goals from El Shaarawy, Evan Ferguson and Ndicka in the 91st minute meant that we have lifted a double. Can we win the league as well? Let's find out. And the answer is yes, we've won the league. 1 point clear of AC Milan, 29 wins, 7 draws, 2 losses, goal difference of 79. Absolutely amazing. Take a look at the league table in full and we can see we scored 102 goals while only conceding 23. That is phenomenal. If we take a look at the stats, we'll have a quick roundup here. Goals, as we saw, 102, massively clear of second place Atalanta. Most shots, 631, few shots against, we're third. Possession wise, we're sitting in 7th. Best pass completion, not here. Tackles won, not here. Dribbles made, we're sitting in 2nd. Fewest conceded, 23. Milan only conceded 16 goals, but we were still the champions. In terms of player stats here, if we take a look, Dolbeck with 28 goals, Dybala with 21. In terms of the assists, Sule and Dybala with 14, El Shaarawy with 9, Angelino with 9. Most shots, Dybala, Dolbeck and Cristante all up there. Man of the matches, Dolbeck 6, Paulo Dybala first with 7. Best pass completion, goalkeepers, most key passes, Dybala with 119. Most tackles won, we're not here. Dribble wise, we're not here. Fewest conceded, Galini in 3rd place behind Perin and Magnan. And in terms of clean sheets, we are 2nd. We didn't do this with Aston Villa, but we'll go back and look at that in a wee second. In terms of the data hub for Roma, 2.68 goals per game from a set of 2.07. Expected to concede 0.9 goals a game. We have only conceded 0.61 goals per game. That is, as we've seen, treble winning form. That is amazing. In terms of the key players here, there's a clear 3. Dolbeck, 41 goals, 6 assists for the Ukrainian centre forward in his first year in the Italian capital. Absolutely brilliant season for him all round. And if you couldn't have guessed it from the numbers earlier, Dybala, 25 goals, 19 assists for the Argentinian. He's one of my favourite players in Football Manager, especially because if you didn't know this, in the first season you can pick him up for a release clause of about £10 million. An absolute steal for a player of this quality. Another special mention goes out to another Argentinian, another attacking player, and it is Matthias Sule. 19 goals, 19 assists for the young man. Absolutely brilliant season for him as well. So between the forward 3, absolutely crushed it here. So we've won a double with Villa and a treble with Roma. Can we win even more with Copenhagen? Let's go over to Denmark and find out. So we won the Danish Cup. It wasn't penalties, but we have won the Danish Cup. As I said, on penalties, not much more to say, but first trophy in the bag for Copenhagen. And unfortunately, as we start in the Champions League, we've lost 5-1 in aggregate to Athletic Club, which means they get demoted to the Europa League. A Europa League that already has Aston Villa and Roma in it. And in this same universe, we have topped our Europa League group, which included Benfica and Genk, so maybe a wee bit tougher, especially surprising to see Benfica going out here, but 3 wins, 3 draws, beat Rijeka twice, beat Genk once, and then drew with Benfica twice, and drew with Genk. So we've made it through, we are going into the last 16. And in the last 16, as I said, it is the same universe, and it is our Copenhagen side with Emery's 4-2-3-1 that's beaten Unai Emery's own Aston Villa 4-2-3-1, so a bit unfair that they've came up against each other this early, but it is what it is. Copenhagen managed to put out Aston Villa in this cup. And then that's where it ended. In the quarterfinals, we lost to eventual finalists PSV 4-1 in aggregate, which means there's going to be no European journey here, but we can already see that because we were managing Roma. But in the league, if you're not sure, there's a preliminary phase in Denmark, and then the top 6 qualify for a championship group. So in the preliminary phase, we won 16, drew 5, lost 1 to finish on 53 points. And then in the championship group, We have finished the entire season with 23 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses. Golden Hounds are 46, 75 points, 13 points clear of AGF. So brilliant season all round. We've managed to win a double here and done okay in Europe. Not brilliant, but we've done okay. In terms of the key numbers for this side, in terms of goals, we are actually second with 71. Few shots against, we're top. Most shots, we are second. Best pass completion, we've got 90%. Possession wise, 64% of the ball. That is absolutely amazing to see. Dribbling, third. Most tackles, we're not on the list. Clean sheets, we've kept 13 this season. We've conceded just 25 goals in 32 games. So again, under the 1 per game. Spot on, what we like to see. And in terms of the player stats, most goals, new boy Yusuf Moukoko with 20 goals in his 26 starts, goal every 107 minutes. In terms of the assists, we have Achauri, Larsson and Melling, all hitting 8 or 7 assists, finished the 5th and 6th best assisters. Most player of the matches, we've got Larsson, Moukoko, El Yunusi and Achauri, all some of the key players here. In terms of shots, Moukoko's joint second with 69 across the season. Key passes, we have El Yunusi and Larsson in 7th and 8th. Best pass completion, we have 3 of our defenders. I will eat my own words because I always say that 99 times out of 100, the 7 out of 8 players here are goalkeepers. But this time, we have 3 of our defenders are the best 3 passers. So with 64% possession, you can see that we're keeping the ball. We are recycling possession, we are just continually playing passes out the back. Maybe not the style I like to see, but it's worked for Copenhagen. In terms of dribbles made, Achauri's up in 5th place there. Tackles 1, we've got nobody here. Clean sheets, Kotarski with 12 across the season, and he has conceded 24 as we saw. And for the data hub for Copenhagen, if we take a look, it's 2.22 goals per game from instead of 1.75. And conceded 0.78 from instead of 0.83, so again below the 1 and better than expected, which is phenomenal. And the key player you must know already is going to be Moukoko. 34 goals across the season and 2 assists for the young German striker in his first season in Denmark. Absolutely spot on. So we've won a double with Copenhagen, we won the double with Aston Villa, and we won a treble with Roma. I'd say this has been a very, very successful run of tests. Now what you're all here for, I'll show you exactly how the tactic lines up. But before we do that, please remember to like the video, share, comment what other tactics you would like to see before FM26, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And just because we missed it earlier on, 2.42 goals per game for Aston Villa from instead of 1.88, conceded 0.97, so maybe a wee bit more than the other 2 sides, but still really good. And now, onto the tactic. So here we are, this is the Flying Scotsman's Emery-inspired 4-2-3-1. I will go through the team instructions, go through the player roles, go through the player instructions. As always, I'll leave download links down below, but if for whatever reason you can't download it because you're either on mobile or console, or you just can't be bothered, pause the video, take screenshots, whatever you want to do, all the information will be here. So first up, we're on the positive mentality here. In possession, we are playing fairly narrow, playing it out of defence, focusing on the left and the right. We are passing it shorter and we're playing it at a higher tempo. We're also asking our players to run at the defence. In transition, we are counter-pressing, we are countering. It's pretty much what every tactic looks like, but that is how I see Aston Villa playing. And out of possession, we have a high press, the much higher defensive line. We're triggering the press much more often. We're preventing the short goalkeeper distribution, and we are getting stuck in. And in terms of the player roles now, in goals, we have a goalkeeper, sweeper, keeper on defend. No additional instructions. Right back, we have a wing back on support with cross more often and cross from the byline. 2 centre backs, both ball playing defenders, both just set to their standard instructions. On the left hand side again, we have a wing back on support, cross more often and cross from the byline. Midfield 2, on the left hand side we have a defensive midfielder on support with take more risks and tackle harder. Partnering him, we have a deep line playmaker on some more on the right hand side. No additional instructions for him. In the front 4, on the right hand side we have a winger on attack with cut inside with the ball. On the left hand side we also have a winger on attack, also with that instruction of cutting inside with the ball. And in behind the striker we have an attacking midfielder on attack, no additional instructions set here. And last but not least, we have a pressing forward on attack, no additional instructions, and that is how my interpretation of Emery's tactic works best in Football Manager 2024. As always, leave a like, comment down below what you enjoyed with this tactic, what tactics you'd like to see next time, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.